show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
By that thunder and lightning and heavy rain does bring you to springtime, doesn't it? Makes you feel like we're finally there. And you have baseball this week.
Yeah, tonight and tomorrow. As a matter of fact, Sal,
I'm not sure you're going to get a game in tonight.
I'm afraid of that.
Yeah, and it won't be snow. It'll be the rain. It's supposed to rain all day.
The game is south a little bit, and I think their forecast is a little better than ours.
All right, that's
but Sal, our crew chief here, had a game last night. I was actually going to try to stop by, but I walked outside to head out toward Frankfurt, and it was sleeting and hailing.
Yeah, it was.
So I said, I'm not going to that game.
It was not a pretty. I mean, it was chilly. It was chilly.
It was chilly yesterday. Yeah.
I do have to say a couple of things that are not in the sports feed that really surprises me. Jokic, is that how his name is? Jokic, who plays
they
for
call him Joker,
Denver.
yeah, but Jokic, yeah.
He the other night, they get no coverage. My son, who is out in Denver, is always complaining about this, that nobody pays attention to one of the greatest players of all time, and so far he's on track to be one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player in basketball, and that's this Jokic, who. Yeah, how many points did he score the other
61.
night? 61. Just 61. What do they say? He had a triple or something like that.
A triple-double?
A triple-double.
Or did he have a triple? No, he couldn't have had triple digits.
Right, he didn't have triple digits.
But, yeah, that's a triple-double.
Triple-double.
He
not bad.
I don't want to say routinely gets triple-doubles, but, I mean, he gets them all the time with
and
the
that's
rebounds.
The thing, but it very seldom gets any coverage. And interestingly, when they won the NBA championship, they interviewed him, and he said, "I'm happy. Can I go home?"
Yeah,
because he really, this is his job. He sees this as his job.
Yeah,
and I don't know that he loves the game.
I don't remember on what day they won the championship, but let's say it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday, and they were like, well, no, we got the parade on Saturday.
Parade, right, it was the parade.
His response, literally, he forgot, and when someone told him he was at the podium, and he went, no, I have to go home.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I almost think they paid him to stay and march in the parade.
It's unbelievable. But, the theory is because it's a smaller market and it's out there and they play – a few hours later, that nobody really covers it, and he's going under the radar.
Well, so here's the thing too. I don't know if this really gets into the media market, the size of media markets, but you could make the same argument for Mike Trout. People for years have said he's the greatest baseball player of all time. On a day-to-day basis, you have no idea what he did last night because their games start when many people, your 9 to 5ers, are going to bed. Their 10 o'clock starts Eastern time. So I think that's part of the reason. I don't think it's intentional.
However, we do keep track of the Dodgers, and how about Ohtani with a walk-off grand slam home run? And the Dodgers remain undefeated. Oh, boy. This team's going to be a tough one.
Well, let them get it out of their system now, and hopefully they don't Repeat.
Richard this morning is reporting on...
Good morning, Richard. I haven't heard his sarcasm or criticism in so long.
He did come out and basically say, I can't stand having Jeff back in the studio.
Yeah.
No, he didn't say that. It could be a disaster today in the stock market. Could go down 2,000 points. He feels this move by Trump is a bad move. And yes, we're talking about all of the tariffs. We'll speak with a little bit with Ryan Schmelz on that coming up in a bit. But this is a biggie. And Trump's plan is that over time there'll be some pain, but over time this will bring manufacturing back to the United States. The problem you still will have is a lot of these places where we're getting our parts, where we buy our junk. There's a lot of junk that we buy.
Sure.
A lot of the things that we buy are the reason the manufacturing is overseas. And I realized there was NAFTA and all of these things that played a role, but the real reason is the labor's so cheap.
So, absolutely.
And we can't compete with that.
No, we can't.
So we struggle competing with that. And if you want to, as a company, as a manufacturer here in the United States, if you want to manufacture something, you oftentimes use one of the country like China because you can competitively create products and sell them in the United States.
So two things. I caught Hannity.
And those are American businesses. So I guess we're going to find out, though, right? We're going to find out. And the question will be, is the damage... There will be damage from this. There will be hurt. There will be trouble on the markets. Will it then be? Will the damage be enough so that, or low enough so that we can then turn around and become the manufacturing giant that Trump wants us to be, or does the damage send us into a place that it's going to be hard to recover from?
So,
These are questions, not predictions.
Essentially, if I was understanding this correct yesterday, I caught a little bit of Hannity, and he had Trump's press conference live. And I'm sure it caused some chaos here because they were just blowing through commercial breaks. Hannity wasn't taking his breaks. He was just running Trump straight through.
Yes, everybody goes nuts at the radio station because...
Well, yeah, I mean, you're knocking off our spot blocks here.
Yes,
give us a little heads up so that, somebody can get in there and switch that around.
Yes.
But the point being, so if it's a 25% tariff on imported vehicles, I mean, is it as simple as, am I understanding this right? I'm just going to use round numbers. We have a $20,000 car, which I don't even know if we make those anymore, if you can even get a $20,000 brand new car. It's now going to be $25,000 starting today. Right. Yesterday it was 20 grand. Today now it's 25 grand.
I wouldn't say that is the case because you still have vehicles in stock. So I think and I do not know the answer. I'm just telling you based on what I've been. And
it's a fair point.
And I have to say 2 days in a row I've been stuck in work, and I have been away from. I'm not sitting there in front of the TV working all day long, keeping track of what's going on in the world. So I haven't. But based on commercials that I'm hearing, I'm hearing a lot of auto dealerships say, buy it now before the tariff goes into play. And so if you're a dealership and you have vehicles that are in stock, I believe you can have a pre-tariff sale.
Right, because you didn't pay the tariff.
Correct.
Because you already had it.
Kind of like the gasoline, although gasoline is even a little bit different because they use futures in gasoline pricing. Yeah. So you may have a tank that you paid, let's just say $1 a gallon for that gasoline, but you just realize it just is going up to $1.80 a gallon. So you immediately raise your price on the gas that's already in the ground.
Right.
That I don't think will happen when it comes to automobiles. And I think what you could actually see, I believe, and I could be wrong, you could actually see a boon in automobile sales over the course of the next couple of months because they're trying to unload the stock that they have. Where we will then be in trouble is how will we do with the tariffs when we start selling those tariffed vehicles in June, July, or July, August, and September. And the other thing is, if you have vehicles that are tough to get a hold of, and they don't necessarily have 10 of them sitting on the lot, you may be paying immediately the tariff price on that vehicle.
Okay. And then the second point was, in addition...
Notice how I gave you an answer that really isn't anything
Well, no, that's a fair
definitive.
point.
Yeah.
I think I'm glad you brought it up because, right, for instance, if you walk down the lot this morning, that vehicle sitting there didn't get hit with the 25% tariff. So why would I be paying it, right? I mean, that's a good point to bring up.
If you're a car salesman, you know that you can most likely sell a car based on the approach that, hey, you can beat the tariff here.
Absolutely.
You're going to buy it now. You sit around, you're going to be paying another $5,000 for this vehicle or whatever.
I mean, imagine that as a car salesman where you can literally say to your customer, you really need to buy this.
You got to buy it. You got to buy it now.
You're going to get 25% hit over the head.
I'm not.
You just wait 2
I'm
more
not
weeks.
kidding. The price is going up by $5,000 and very soon.
All right, and then the other point was during the Trump speech, he talked about, I guess these are investments in high-tech manufacturing. I'm not 100% sure. Again, I was doing deliveries, so I'm in and out of the truck. So I get part of it, and then I hop off. But essentially, he was announcing a number of companies' $500 billion investment, largest investment ever. It's a beautiful thing, greatest thing ever. That's what they tell me. This company is going to be investing $300 million or $300 billion.
Apple is one of them. Apple is one.
Yeah, Apple he mentioned. I did hear that. So I guess my question is, or the thought, and if anybody knows, Chuck or anybody else, I'm sure Chuck wants to weigh in on this. I don't know. But was he announcing that as like, okay, here's the bad news. Prices are going up, but we've got this good news here. Or is somehow this Liberation Day or the tariff in conjunction with his announcements yesterday of all these financial investments?
The liberation is basically saying we are being liberated from the pain that has been the tariffs that have imposed on us. So we're
deep pain,
and that will
horrible pain,
and that'll bring manufacturing back in. But I'm telling you, Apple wasn't making their pieces, their little intricate parts for their iPhones in China because they just wanted to do business in China. It was cheaper to produce it in China. And even if we bring back, here's the part I don't understand. Even if we bring back manufacturing to the United States, you're going to pay more for the iPhone.
The iPhone 17, $4 billion.
You're already paying. I mean, an iPhone can already cost you $1,500 Think about this. And but they make it nice and pretty when it's like, well, you're only going to have to pay $34.95 a month, and we're going to give you this for free, and we're going to lower your plan, and the payments last for 3 years.
Yep.
But here's the good part. You're going to be able to get a new phone in just 12 months. And, well, we'll tack that stuff on, and we'll give you the rebate. I mean, it is so confusing. But if you're really starting to look at the numbers, what you do know is at the end of the day, when you're cutting your check for your phone bill, it just keeps going up and up and up. Now, I wonder what will the price be of the iPhone if these parts are made in the United States, and we are paying a different labor. And here's the other part of this: we are. Let's just take a look at Micron, for instance. And by the way, they're worried, and which I don't understand why they would cut the funding for that project in Syracuse. But there's talk about cutting that funding. Why would you want to do that when that will help in this tech world we're trying to create?
Right.
But my point is, look how long it's taking to build that plant.
They haven't even broke ground.
Hold on, Davey. I got to bring you up.
They
haven't even broken ground as of yet. So it takes a while. It's going to take a while. Now, some will say, and I spoke to Joe, if he's out there listening from Florida this morning. Joe says that Joe Joseph says that one of the things that there are companies out there, especially in the auto world, they have these buildings that have gone vacant because parts have gone overseas or maybe to Mexico or to Canada, part manufacturing. So they'll be able to ramp up, but and ramp up quickly. But you're talking you've got to ramp up, update equipment. You now have to bring in employees. You have to train those employees. This is not going to be fast. Fast might be a year and a half, 2 years. That might be fast. But what happens between now and then? These are all questions that I'm wondering about as what are we going to be going through between now and then? And one of the things that should be noticed is that the United States economy, pre-Trump, the U.S. economy, while we may be complaining about inflation and everything else, the fact is we were really one of the most, if not the most stable economy in the world. The European economies are very, very fragile. Other economies around the world, very fragile, and you wonder what this is going to do to their economies. This is having a rumbling like an earthquake would around the world.
Yeah.
So the part of this that I've been following, we all have a lot of questions because one side will tell you, yeah, it's going to hurt a little bit. It's going to hurt the middle class more. Trust me. It's the middle class. It's the middle class because those who are on assistance, things are just going to plow along the same way. Life ain't great, but it's not going to change. But for the middle class, life could very well change. But on the other side, they're telling us, one side says it's going to be ultimately really good. The other side saying this is disaster. So who do you believe? I guess you wait and see.
Look, I do expect, and I have questions about this approach, this tactic. I don't know one way or the other. When you talk about the other side is saying, every time he does something, they think the world is ending.
No doubt. But this is a biggie, though.
I agree. I agree.
This is one you can say is really happening.
That there's going to be an impact.
And although it was lessened, he did lessen the, he said these are a kinder, this is a kinder approach to the tariffs because in some cases, if they were, say they were their tariff was 20%, we only, our response was 10%.
Right, it was like halves.
Yeah.
He was going through the numbers. He's like, India, they 46%, all of our imports or exports, whatever it is.
Here's the other problem.
So we're going to do 23%.
I was watching a podcast on this the other day, and this was a person that is saying, an economist saying, this is a major mistake. This person was against it. I just want to tell you that in advance. But he said a lot of these tariffs have not we have not put in these tariffs. We have not put in great thought into because we end up putting a tariff on products that we cannot make in the United States. He used blueberries as an example. Right now, you cannot buy American-grown blueberries in the United States. We have a season, but our weather will not allow for blueberries to be grown right now in the United States. We have to go elsewhere. Now, the price on blueberries is going up. So if you can live without blueberries, I guess you're going to be okay. But if you're Richard and you make cheesecakes and maybe you don't make a blueberry cheesecake all of a sudden. But there are products, for instance, coffee. We do not make coffee in the United States. Hawaii is probably the only place where coffee is grown in the United States. So you're going to pay on that. You have to go overseas to get your you're wrong. To the southern hemisphere to get your coffee.
Just put a little more of that local milk in the cup, and it fills it right up.
It could
25% more milk
again. I got Chuck who's getting all upset.
I knew he was going to chime in today.
Don't be upset. We're discussing.
We're discussing. Join the conversation.
Feel free. The point is, no one has said that this is definitively going to blow the economy up. We're asking that question because there are people saying that it will, people saying that it won't, but almost everybody is saying there will be pain, at least at some level, especially for the middle class. Going forward. Here's Richard. No pain for the rich and wealthy, but the middle class and the poor will get destroyed. He's very against this, by the way. I want to preface that. This is a pathetic move by Trump, who he calls the dictator. Chuck, I'm reading Richard's email. I didn't say it. I'm just reading it. All imported cars will go up 25% now, even inventory autos. I got to get somebody to answer that because I did not believe that to be the case. Trump put tariffs on land that nobody lives on, some islands that only penguins live on. Absolutely no research done by the government. This is a joke. This is Richard. And then
so I have a similar comment here. Also, tariffs are so wide-sweeping they include remote islands. One is mainly home to penguins. Apparently, they fall under them since they're Australian territories. So, but let me just say this. It would seem like if there's an island that's home to penguins only, or mostly penguins, what are we importing from that island? Who cares if we put a tariff on it? What are we getting from them?
Right.
But it's just another comment I'm sharing.
Okay, and I do have Chuck. I wanted to bring him in. So happy that I had an eye doctor's appointment on Wednesday because listening to you two on the repeat is torture. Bless your heart. Chuck, listening to you is torture every time I hear you in real time. I don't know.
We just played that Boilermaker segment. That was all. I mean, I don't know what he's talking about.
One of the newscasts said dealers is Donna. One of the newscasts said the dealers were trying to get as many as they can across the border before the tariff. I think that. I think the comment is Richard is wrong. I do think that if you have it on your lot, you have gone past the tariff. You've bypassed the tariff. Anything you now, if you're an auto dealer, maybe you say nope. Sorry, we're raising the price because you can make more money on that car.
Right.
Maybe you do, but I would say, knowing the competitive nature of the auto industry, that a sale saying you can beat the tariff is a better sale than
100%.
saying you're going to have to pay the tariff.
100%.
So I think the market, actually, that's one of the areas where the market is going to do the determination of what happens. Again, to preface all of this, Chuck, who's going nuts, and we're simply consumers who have played no role in any of this, like the rest of us. And wondering, not predicting what is going to happen, wondering who is right, because you can listen from side to side. And let me tell you, there are plenty of conservatives and Republicans who are voicing the same concern and are against these tariffs. This is not just a Republican-Democrat argument, because those arguments are, for the Democrats, the sky is always falling when it comes to Trump. And, you just have to tune that stuff out. But when you find someone that is an economist, that is more conservative, that is blowing the whistle and saying, be careful here, this is dangerous, you kind of give some weight to that person. Those are the people I like to listen to. Not the Cory Bookers, who I don't know how he didn't go to the bathroom for 25 hours.
I know.
And to be honest with you, he says he wasn't wearing Depends. I don't believe him.
Well, how embarrassing.
You had to. How did you do that?
Look, I can't make it through a night without going at least twice.
Davey's looking at me like, come on, you got to take a break. But this is big. There's a lot to be talked about here, and I wonder what you think. And do you have some insight on the economy? Because I've talked to people on both sides, but I will say there are more on the side of against tariffs than on the side of Trump saying that this is the right move.
China,
that I have found. That's anecdotal.
China wanted to sneak in some vehicles before the tariffs began, so we built a wall. They couldn't get them over.
Your impression is getting better and better. Let me take a break here. And by the way, through all of this conservatism in the world today in the United States, Trumpism, if you will, out of nowhere, Barack Obama will be landing in, I'm assuming he'll land at Griffiths and then be transported over to Hamilton College in Clinton tonight. For 1 hour between 7 and 8 p.m., he will be speaking at Hamilton College. So many staff and students applied for tickets, no tickets available to the general public. However, media will be there and we'll be reporting on it.
Just one thought on that, because I heard someone the other day, a friend of mine was kind of bad-mouthing Obama, and it was actually in regard to his visit locally. He's like, who wants to go see him?
Well, there's a
lot of people.
There's the other 50% of the country. This guy they're like wishing for him to come back after 4 years of Joe Biden.
But
and a Kamala Harris run. Believe me, they would like to see somebody else.
What I had said to him was, don't forget, I mean, Trump badmouths everybody, right? I mean, especially if you guys, if Trump doesn't get along with the person, he will badmouth them nonstop. Just don't forget that when he saw Obama and all the reporters asked him, it was at the Jimmy Carter funeral, asked him about that little moment they shared where they laughed. Remember, he said, maybe there's two guys who liked each other very much. It seemed to me like they were very friendly.
It was.
Maybe they really like each other.
It was.
Even your Trump might like Obama.
And believe me, Obama was getting criticism from the left because he was laughing and joking with Trump. Interesting.
He told a joke.
And then the other thing
was funny.
The other thing that Trump laid out there the other day was, I'm people are telling me that it might be okay to run for a third term. It can be done. There's a way to do it. But just one quickie. He said, and only because Obama is going to be in town tonight, I want to just reiterate this. He said, I could see Trump versus Obama. That would be a very interesting election. So that is quite interesting, I find. On the line right now is Ryan Schmelz, Fox News Radio. Ryan, what's your out time so I don't screw with you here?
Well, I remember when a couple months ago somebody posted a video. It was the WrestleMania promo for Stone Cold versus The Rock at WrestleMania 17, and someone said, when Trump lifts the two-term limit and we finally get Obama versus Trump in 2028.
Yeah, go ahead. Did I lose you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Yes. Go ahead.
Well, I was sharing how there was somebody who shared on Twitter a couple of months ago this video, and it was a promo for WrestleMania 17 between Stone Cold and The Rock, and the caption was, when Trump gets rid of the third term and we finally get Obama versus Trump in 2028.
Right. Well, and that's exactly what he's talking about this week. So who knows, right? I mean, who knows? And by the way, Obama will be speaking at Hamilton College in nearby, right in our area in Clinton tonight. And that is going to be it'll be interesting to see what he says about all of this. Ryan, anything you want to add on the tariffs? Because that's what we have been talking about here this morning, what impact it's going to have. You listen to one side, and yes, there will be some pain, but it will bring manufacturing back to the United States. Others who are more for a global economy say just the opposite, that this is not going to work because we can't match that cheap labor that is found around the world. What are you hearing at your end?
I mean, that sounds about right. I think what stands out is that you had 4 Republican senators vote with all Democrats yesterday to get 51 votes on a resolution that would overturn the Canadian tariffs.
Yeah.
That was pushed by Tim Kaine, Virginia, Hillary Clinton's old running mate. And, that's not a lot of senators, but you're seeing someone like Rand Paul take a very aggressive stance against this. I believe he co-sponsored the legislation. So, I think that's just kind of where their mixed reaction is. I think there is concerns that this is going to be a game changer and actually lead to higher prices. And I think people are saying, well, yes, there's this idea that we could get to, it could have a long-term solid impact or a good impact, but if we hit a recession before then, I don't think people are going to be patient when it comes to waiting for that to go down.
Interesting, and that's really leads us to the conversation that your topic, and that is the House and President Trump's agenda paralyzed because of this GOP drama. And there's that, but there's additional drama. And just look what happened in the 21st here, where Republicans could not agree. It is interesting how parties have everything at their leisure. They're in complete control, and this happens to Democrats and Republicans. Yet the infighting, the disagreements inside, it almost seems that we don't have the ability to coalesce around one agenda to push things forward.
Yeah, and this was a very interesting circumstance where you have this Republican Congresswoman by the name of Anna Paulina Luna pushing a proxy vote bill. So this would allow for new mothers to be able to vote remotely for about 12 weeks after having a child. Now, Speaker Johnson has been adamantly against this, but then there are also members of the House Freedom Caucus who are against this, which Luna used to be a part of. She actually left the Freedom Caucus because of it. Well, she had found this provision that allowed for her resolution to come to the floor within 2 legislative days. So the GOP leadership in the Freedom Caucus's plan to kill it was to attach a motion to kill that said resolution to 2 key border bills that are not border bills, but just 2 key policy bills for President Trump's agenda. So pretty much saying to the members, either vote to kill this resolution or you look like you're voting against President Trump's agenda.
Yeah.
So the 9 members decided they're going to vote against it anyway. They stopped those 2 bills from getting to the floor. They kept the proxy vote resolution alive. And now Speaker Johnson pretty much just canceled votes for the rest of the week, and they're not coming back till Monday as they try to figure this out.
Yeah, this is just when you thought everything was going to be a cakewalk because of, while it'd be a razor thin majority, it's a majority. This stuff starts popping up. Going to be very interesting to see where it goes, where all of it goes. As always, Ryan, we appreciate the insight here this morning.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. Have a great day. Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio. Let me break quickly, and then we'll come right back to this because I got people that want to comment. Some have commented, and we'll speak with Ann, who says, Ann in Rome, she has some facts that she would like to present.
I love Ann. Ann's the greatest.
He does.
She's the best.
He loves her. And you know the phone number. It's 652 at WIBX.
Coming Saturday, April 5th.
The Rome Capitol Theater presenting the Paragon Ragtime Orchestra in a pageant of American music, featuring theater organist David Peckham. The Paragon Ragtime Orchestra is the world's only year-round professional ensemble, recreating America's original music, the syncopated sounds of our country's popular music from the 1890s through the 1920s. Saturday, April 5th at 7 p.m. Tickets and information at romecapital.com.
Tickets on sale now.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
Mattress Express's closeout sale on brand new leftover inventory and floor models. Right now, buy a king or queen and get a free adjustable base. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans available as well.
Here's Comedians and Sketchers Getting Comfortable, presented by Hands-Free Skechers Slip-Ins.
Hey, I'm Bobby Slayton, and I'm here with my pal, comedian, and Skechers ambassador, Mr. Howie Mandel.
Why did it take so long to invent something as amazing as slip-ins? I know it seems simple, but it took Skechers to invent a better pair of shoes.
Yep, with Skechers Slip-ins, you just step it and go. You don't have to touch your shoes. And by the way, Slip-ins are for the whole family, men, women, and kids. In all your favorite Skechers styles, find Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
This is Keeler in the Morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
We had heard yesterday from Jimmy Fallon, who was doing a little shout-out to Davey yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
Jimmy was in Jacksonville, Florida, which is where Christine is now. And, of course, I'm talking to Christine and talking to Jimmy through Christine over the weekend, which was really pretty cool. And she said, you know what he said? He said, yes, a former WIBX alumni. She also used to be an amazing dancer at Peepers. So, it's comedy. All right, I've got comments that I'll get to that have been messaged in. What do I have? 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Okay, Ann, here we go. Hi, Ann. Good morning. You're on the radio. Ann from Rome.
Good morning.
All right, what do you have?
Prior to Trump becoming the 45th president, I'm an avid watcher of Shark Tank. There was a gentleman from West Virginia, started a great company. Everybody wanted to buy in, but they kept saying, go offshore. If you go offshore and make it,
right,
you'll make more money. He said, absolutely not. I'm keeping the jobs here. I'm not putting my friends and family out of business. They would not do a deal with him. Now, going forward, Watch it now. And all you hear when people say, oh, I'm making it here, they all clap good. You got jobs in the United States. When Trump became 45, if anybody remembers, he made this statement first about the farmers that they were getting ripped off. They were selling their products overseas and not making the money they should. He helped them. Then he said, Harley Davidsons, what we sell them for here, when we send them overseas, they raise the prices so much, people end up buying Honda, Kawasaki.
Right.
So anybody complaining, they better think twice.
Well, the problem is
right. Going forward now, everybody complaining, oh, he's putting all these people out of business. He's closing all these departments. Where are they saying we want to keep business here? We want to bring business to the United States. I won't even buy my dog food from China.
Right.
They put in things that are
I understand that, yeah.
And if you remember, going back with the steel that we buy from China is cheaper because it's not as good. That was a Trump fact.
Well, the problem, though, is that when and our steel industry here in the United States, people who use steel, manufacturing that uses steel, struggled because of those tariffs. It really is very complicated who benefits and who doesn't. This is kind of a long-term hope and Trump has always been for tariffs. I was watching an interview that goes way back, long before he ever considered running for president. It's going to be very interesting to see how all of this plays out. But one thing you can't forget, Ann, is there ain't nobody out there today saying, I'm going to save my local business and pay more as opposed to going to Amazon and buying my stuff for less. That is completely, we Americans have decimated the brick and mortar, the local business, all in the middle of all of this. And since Trump, when he was last president, we want things cheaper. We don't want to pay more in taxes. We don't want to pay more for milk. We're pissed off because eggs are costing too much, so we buy the cheaper stuff. And by the way, I know people who will buy the really expensive stuff for their dogs, and they'll let the kids eat the crappy cereal that's filled with all the chemicals. So
I will give you one more fact, and it hits the city of Rome.
All right.
My father worked for Rome Manufacturing. They made pots and pans, tea kettles. Teflon came out. He said, Teflon's selling their pans for $2. Our pans are $6. My 96-year-old mother, if you go in her kitchen, has pots and pans that she got as an engagement gift that look brand new. Because of that $4, he goes, and then the Teflon's going to peel off. They'll buy another one and another one.
Well, I'm running up against the clock, but listen, that stuff is stuff you treasure.
They put a company out of business.
Yeah. It's going to be, all I can say, Ann, I don't have any definitive answer for you, except it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Quick break, Ann. Thank you, and stay well. News is next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Another stock market plunge looms. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Dow futures are down more than 1,200 points, reacting to President Trump
instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal. That means they do it to us and we do it to them.
And he says that'll bring more manufacturing to the U.S.
We're also standing up for our great farmers and ranchers who are brutalized by nations all over the world.
Fox's Jared Halpern's at the White House.
The wide-ranging tariffs will hit nearly every U.S. trading partner. All imports are subject to a 10% baseline tariff, and goods from dozens of other countries will have reciprocal duties imposed at a rate of about half of what is charged for U.S. products.
China calls this bullying, and there are no trade war winners as countries consider retaliation. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen warns of global economic harm.
We are already finalizing the first package of countermeasures.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio's in Europe at NATO's headquarters and talks with our allies, wanting Europeans to do more for their own security.
The threats truly are as dire as I believe they are, and the members of this alliance believe they are. then that threat has to be confronted by a full and real commitment to have the capability to confront these things.
More Israeli airstrikes have hit Gaza overnight. Officials say more than 50 Palestinians killed.
The latest attacks were focused on Khan Yunis in the south of the Strip and Gaza City in the north. Israel intends to take control of large areas of Gaza and establish a new security corridor. It appears the southern city of Rafah is to be cut off, with civilians told to evacuate.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. There is storm damage in several states. One person was killed in Missouri, where tornadoes rolled through.
I heard it coming. I told my wife, get in the basement.
More twisters could form today, Mississippi to Ohio, with heavy rain that could also cause widespread flash floods in the next several days. America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Only two things in life are certain, death and taxes. How about one more? Switch from Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile to cut your bill in half with Pure Talk. For just $25 a month, you get unlimited talk, text, 5 gigs of data on America's most dependable 5G network. Making the switch, it's simple, fast, and easy. You dial pound 250, you say the keyword Pure Talk, and make the switch. You do it now, you save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, wireless, by Americans, for Americans.
As President Trump's new tariffs take effect worldwide, Senate Democrats are pushing back on ones already imposed on Canada.
A measure to repeal the emergency declaration that allowed President Trump to put tariffs on Canada by a vote of 51 to 48.
The joint resolutions passed.
The bill offered by Democratic Senator Tim Kaine got backing from 4 Republicans, including former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. President Trump had said those tariffs were part of a National Liberation Day, but Kaine said,
"It is a national sales tax day because that will be the result of the president's action."
The measure has little hope of passing the Republican-controlled House. In Washington, Jill Nato, Fox News.
Another deadline looms Saturday for TikTok to cut ties to its parent company or face a ban in the U.S., though President Trump could extend that again.
And now the New York Times reports Amazon is coming with an offer of an unknown amount. The report suggests that TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, is not seriously entertaining the offer by the Jeff Bezos company. But Amazon would be just the latest of American parties interested in acquiring the video-focused social media network, often criticized as a China-operated security risk and influence tool.
That's Fox's Evan Brown. In baseball, the Dodgers win again, powered by Shohei Ohtani.
High fly ball to center field. Harris is back. Ohtani!
That was a walk-off home run to win it in the bottom of the ninth on Sportsnet LA to beat the still winless Atlanta Braves. The defending World Series champion Dodgers are now 8-0. San Diego also remains undefeated, beating Cleveland for a 7-0 start. In hockey, Alex Ovechkin scored again, and even though his Washington Capitals lost to the Carolina Hurricanes, it's his 892nd career goal. So Ovechkin is now just 3 away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's NHL career record. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Still raining out, 42 degrees. Good morning, I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. Oneida County has been granted an injunction that allows for the hiring of terminated New York State Correctional Facility staff. Governor Hochul had issued an executive order banning local agencies from hiring those fired officers and staffers. Roughly 2,000 correction officers were fired last month after they did not return to work following a strike that lasted 3 weeks. A judge says the county was able to prove the governor harmed efforts to fill vacancies in the Oneida County Sheriff's Department. Meanwhile, the state attorney general's office says the Utica police officer who shot and killed a teenager will not face charges. Last June, 13-year-old Naya Mwai was shot by an officer after he pointed what appeared to be a handgun at police. It was later discovered that Mwai was in possession of a pellet gun that was designed to look like a handgun. Police stopped him and another boy because they matched the descriptions of armed robbery suspects. The teen was shot during a struggle after he ran from officers. Mega Millions tickets will be going up this week. The price of a ticket will go up to $5 after tomorrow night's drawing. Officials say the price increase will lead to faster growing jackpots and better odds. Every prize will also now be worth more than the cost of a ticket. The first price increase for Mega Millions, the last price increase for Mega Millions came in 2017. And NYRA, the New York Racing Association, offering more access to the Oklahoma training track this year, starting April 19th up to the Belmont Stakes Racing Festival in June. The Whitney viewing stand is going to be open Wednesday through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. In years past, the track and viewing stand were accessible to fans on weekends only before the start of the summer meet. This year's meet begins July 10th and runs through September 1st. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time coming up on 7:08. A wet start. Here's your forecast from Weather Channel meteorologist Ray Stajic here on WIBX.
Winter weather advisories just to our north will continue to be in effect for some leftover mixed precipitation. It's going to go away, and actually everybody getting into the warm sector. See some showers and thunderstorms here today. Temperatures get into the upper 60s. Tonight, maybe a shower early, 42. 30s in the North Country. Friday, partly sunny, 55. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Raining and 42 at 7:08. All right, in sports, the Yankees now lost 2 games this season, 2 in a row. They fell 4-3 to the Diamondbacks in the Bronx last night. Anthony Volpe provided all the offense for the Yankees. He had a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 9th. Not enough, though. The Yankees look to salvage the finale of that 3-game series coming up tonight. The Mets took the rubber match of their 3-game set against the Marlins yesterday. 6-5 the final in 11 innings. Pete Alonso, his second home run of the season, a 3-run shot. Mets will be off today. They're 3-3. They open up their home opener at Citi Field tomorrow afternoon against the Toronto Blue Jays. The LA Dodgers still unbeaten, now 8-0 on the season. It was a Shohei Ohtani walk-off grand slam.
Boy,
to keep them unbeaten.
Yeah,
he's very good.
They're already talking in LA about could we go 162-0?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Meanwhile,
shut up.
Trump said there's a new tariff. Every grand slam is now worth 5. They're not worth 4, they're worth 5. 25%.
It's inflation.
What else do I have here? Alex Ovechkin. He's closing in on becoming the all-time leading goal scorer in NHL history. Just 3 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time record. The Capitals' captain scored the team's lone goal in a 5-1 loss to the Hurricanes last night. Ovechkin, who's 39, has 892 career goals. The Caps will host the Blackhawks coming up in their next game tomorrow.
All right, I do have a few comments that we can get to coming up. Also, there is a question, we deal with it here locally, and people who have been asking, boy, we got a brand new hospital. Where are all the doctors? How come they said we were going to get new doctors? They were all going to come here. Where are all the doctors? There is, believe it or not, a shortage in America of doctors. And Sharon Weinstein is a fellow with the American Academy of Nursing, and her question is, where have all the doctors gone? This is not a problem that is exclusive to us with a new hospital, but a great topic. We'll also speak this hour with Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshaw. A big win for Pacenti yesterday when it comes to being able to hire these prison guards. And now the governor is talking about we're somehow, I don't know how, we're 2,000 now, 4,000 corrections officers short. How did this happen? Well, you fired 2,000 of them. And now we're at a 4,000 CO deficit in New York State. So the talk is releasing inmates. Now, pedophiles, those have been on sex charges, and murderers will, and I don't know about rapists, will not be included in this. but they're talking about letting people out because we don't have enough people to keep them in. We'll speak with Marion Buttonshot on that. Hobica's free money question of the day is coming up as well. Davey, it's worth what? $200 today, and Manaski with a question.
Well, did I see correctly? Again, I question everything I see now, even on, quote, reputable news sites, because I just feel like there's always a spin.
You should question everything, yeah.
There used to be a time, though, where you felt like you had a source where you could get it straight. Somebody would break it down.
You need more than one.
Okay, so here's my question. I saw a video online, and the caption said, it was Governor Kathy Hochul talking to a man in a suit. I believe it was at a funeral for a member of state police or the correctional community. And then the video showed her driving off in a black SUV, as politicians often are in these armored vehicles. And it said that either the state police or the state union, when Hochul showed up for the funeral, they told her, you're not allowed in and we want you to leave immediately.
That is true.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that is true.
Wow.
That was a, you can take it for what it is, but listen, they are at extreme odds with the governor at this point.
Wow.
And to think that let's just keep in mind, if you think the resolution of the strike, the end of the strike means everything's okay, it does not. The problems still exist. Very little changes were made. There were some concessions, a few, but still, it is a dangerous place to work. Overtime is a huge problem. You still have the National Guard in our prison systems. This is a mess right now. So, she is not popular by any means. Let me break in. We'll come back and talk about it. But coming up, Sharon Weinstein on this issue of a shortage of doctors. We'll do it coming up at WIBX.
It's tax season. By now, we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number, $100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed. Save up to 40% in your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. That's LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $4,000 of free windows? And when I say $4,000 of free windows, I mean $4,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $4,000 to get $4,000 free. You just get up to $4,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of these restrictions are income-based, and you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
This is Dr. Robert Fleischer, urologist with Upstate Urology at Mohawk Valley Health System. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer and second leading cause of cancer death in American men. Early detection is critically important in managing this cancer and improving survival. I strongly encourage all men aged 45 to 75 to get screened, and you can do so at one of our free prostate cancer screenings. For more information or to register for this free screening, please call 315-624-4600. 315-624-4600.
¿Sabías que el cáncer de próstata es el cáncer más común y la segunda causa principal de muerte por cáncer en los hombres estadounidenses? Se recomienda encarecidamente que todos los hombres de entre 45 y 75 años de edad se hagan la prueba de detección. Puedes hacerlo en uno de nuestros exámenes de detección de cáncer de próstata gratuitos. Para obtener más información o registrarse, visite mvhealthsystem.org/urology o llame al 315-624-4600.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Before there was social media, streaming, and even color television, there was radio. Remember the golden days when you had to tune in to hear what happened to Hopalong Cassidy, or perhaps the Green Hornet? What if you could relive those days again? Hi, I'm Greg Bell, the host of When Radio Was, a show that's dedicated to the very best of radio's golden age. From classic performances by Jack Benny to tales of terror on Lights Out. It's all here on When Radio Was, starting every Sunday at 11 p.m., only on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Which classic broadcast will you hear next?
This is Keeler in the Morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
All right, we have some comments to get to as my internet just goes right down. Love it. You never know here. I guess I got your mic on.
I can give you one here from Wayne. I'm sorry, Wayne. I just saw this. This is on the tariffs that we talked about last hour.
Yep.
He said, so we pay more, but there are jobs, and everyone doesn't use Apple like we all don't drive BMWs. You have to start somewhere. That was Wayne's take on the tariffs and what we discussed last hour.
Well, that is one theory, that you got to start somewhere. You got to do, or is you have the theory that we are better off in a world economy. The
globalists have been trying to get this on the.
That is something that I think that Trump is very much against. So the question will be, how bad does it get to get there? In order to get there, how bad does it get? And I think that's a fair question. And how will Middle America fare? I think that's a fair, no pun intended, question. So we'll see. But that is the theory, right? You got to, and actually, there is, I believe I was watching somebody who is from Detroit, who's an auto worker, who's saying, I feel like this is going to get my job back. I'm going to get my job back. So he's for it, as you might expect. Mike this morning says Mega Millions has been hit by the tariffs. Oh, yeah. Already the prices are up.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Can I ask a question? I didn't want to ask it in the middle of the news.
Yeah.
The story is right that they're going up. Where is it? The cost of Mega Millions. Okay, price will go up to $5 following tomorrow night's drawing. Officials say the price increase will lead to faster growing jackpots and better odds. Am I mistaken? We've discussed this before. Your odds of winning.
No, they can change the odds. They're able to change the odds. The odds are determined by the numbers. So they have every ability. They set the odds. So they can.
No. Hang, go ahead.
They're not saying the odds are better because more people are going to buy or fewer people are going to buy. They're saying they're making the odds better, and the odds will be better to win. What they're saying is that not only will there be more winners, but every win will be more than the price of the ticket.
How does Mega Millions work? Is it 5 numbers? I'm thinking Powerball maybe.
But here's the thing: they can change the odds by how many numbers you pick from, how many. And if they're saying the odds of winning will increase, then they've moved some things around.
I'm not saying you're wrong. My question is though,
they'd have to in order to change the odds.
Right, because the odds of me randomly picking a number correct 5 times from the draw.
That's correct. 10
is always the same. If there's 10 or a billion.
You're going back to I like to play when fewer people are playing because my chances are better to win.
That's not true.
That is not true.
Right.
It doesn't matter how many people play. Your odds are still the same when it comes to. But if they're saying the odds are better, it's meaning they've changed the formula. So they've changed the mathematics around the game.
Okay.
And that is giving people a better chance of winning. A better chance of winning, to me, would mean a better chance of winning. Now, it probably means you have a better chance of winning smaller prizes. Your big prize, those odds, if the numbers that you pick from are the same and the numbers that are drawn are the same, the odds of winning the big prize have not changed.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start a lottery. I guarantee everybody who buys a ticket will win at least $1,000. Tickets cost $4,000.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Well, and
because that's another thing it says here is that with Faster, every prize will also now be worth more than the cost of a ticket.
Correct. So if your ticket costs $5, every
and I
prize,
won 3.
every prize, right? That's what normally happens. Now you won't win $3. Now you'll win at least $6 because you're winning more than what the cost of the ticket is. So take it for what it is. I don't know where.
And all this money goes to education, right?
On the line right now is Sharon Weinstein. Sharon, good morning. Thank you so much for coming on. Sharon is a fellow with the American Academy of Nursing, co-author of the award-winning book, Healing Healthcare, Evidence-Based Strategies for Mending Our Broken System. Sharon, good morning.
Good morning. I'm so excited to run out and buy my lottery ticket.
Yes, Mega Millions, your big chance. Now, I got to tell you, I have a child who is studying to be a doctor, and we need to make it a little easier because this is crap. I mean, she'll be going to school for half her life by the time she's done, and we'll be broke before she gets there.
I was going to say she'll be paying for it for the rest of her life.
For the rest of her life. And she wants to be a pediatrician. I'm well, you'll never pay off your student loans, for God's sakes. But, it is what it is. I'm so glad we have you because we are the first in this city, in upstate New York. We are the first brand new hospital in New York State in decades. We have a brand new hospital which merged really 2 or 3 hospitals over time, but most recently 2 hospitals together to become one. And a lot of the talk was we're going to have better health care as a result. We're going to have you'll get better doctors. You'll want to work in a brand new facility, et cetera, et cetera. And the people feel that has not happened. Of course, the hospital was being built right in the midst of COVID, which caused all sorts of problems. Not only could you not find doctors, you could not find nurses. We've had a major retirement of doctors, and it is a struggle to fill the void. So here we are, kind of a unique case with a brand new hospital, but there's a struggle. What's going on here?
Well, we just celebrated Doctors' Day, and the numbers are dwindling. Yes, it's true that you'd want to work in a brand new facility, but a brand new facility with no staff, no supplies, supply chain issues, administrative issues, the same electronic records that are driving us all nuts.
Yeah.
The U.S. could be short 124,000 doctors by 2034.
Well, one of the problems that's an astounding number. And what do you hear? And you hear it from your own physician when you're sitting there waiting to have your blood pressure taken. Your doctor is complaining about all of the paperwork. And how do we trick the insurance company into allowing the doctor to prescribe the right medicine or the right treatment for you? Because the insurance companies seem to be making the decisions.
They do. And it's endless paperwork. It's electronic health records, and it's insurance red tape. Just this morning, I sent a message to one of my physicians who ordered a new drug, and I said, will my insurance cover this? Because the other day, my husband went to pick up a script for something so simple, and it was $800. Wow. And I told him not to take it. Find something else. Yeah. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And doctors are now spending twice as much time on administrative work as they do on care. Is that what your daughter wants?
Right.
I think not.
Yeah, it certainly has to be, and it's amazing when you speak with a physician. They'll say, you know what, you're better off maybe becoming a physician's assistant as opposed to a doctor. The other thing that was a big deal around here was the mandatory on-call hours over the weekends.
Right.
There's a lot there that you could have the shiny brand new facility, but they're everything from pay to quality of life that probably is the big factor right there, the quality of life factor.
Well, you're right. A couple of years ago, actually, the first edition was probably in 2009, the second in 2012, and the new one with a new name is coming out now. But the book was called B is for Balance. There is no such thing as balance. The shift in the title has become Harmony by Design. You hope to have some semblance of work-life harmony, but balance is out. It is not within one's reach. It just doesn't happen.
What does this do for the nurses, the nursing staff?
The nursing staff is in just as bad shape as the doctors. I happen to be on the nurse fatigue writing panel for the American Academy of Nursing. And one of the things we talk about is hospitals have well-being programs, but the well-being program is only 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Is that when the hospital is open? No.
Right.
The hospital is open 24/7, 365. So why are people who work off shifts or who are on call drinking energy drinks and eating chocolate bars and chips instead of having a healthy snack? Why do they not have ambient lighting or some soft music or something else to keep them engaged and to keep them sharp?
So I want to ask you, I'm dealing with a situation of my own with chronic myeloid leukemia, which is treatable as long as you can handle the medicine and the side effects.
Right.
You'll live a normal life, which is where I'm at. I'm a part of a study on the drug called Semblix, and when I go to Roswell in Buffalo, which is a cancer research hospital, it is a different experience. Everyone seems calm. There's a guy playing the piano in the lobby as you walk in. Because I'm part of a study, they're working with the drug companies. How is that different than your average hospital that's taking care of people every single day when somebody gets in a car accident?
That's a really great question. Having worked in the oncology space for a long period of time, I have always found that the atmosphere, the environment, the work environment for the staff and the patient experience environment for those who are getting care always seems to be more calm.
Yeah.
I've never been able to put my finger on it, but the people who are working in those areas really want to be there. They really feel as if they're making a huge difference and that the patient feels that.
You do feel it.
They're better staffed.
Yeah. And you feel it. You experience it.
You feel it. You sense it right away, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And then you walk into your local emergency room and you're feeling bad for the people that are there, whether it be the people who are checking you in because they're so overwhelmed or there's somebody screaming at them.
Right.
It's just I can't imagine the atmosphere having to do that week in and day out.
No, it's a toxic work environment. It truly is. And in that environment, it's not an ER. It's basically havoc.
Right.
It really is.
What is the? We don't have all day to talk about this, although we could. What's the answer? What are you recommending? What's the solution?
Well, my colleague and I, Dina Redinger, wrote a book called Healing Healthcare. We included 26 contributing authors from across the world. Each of them has contributed vetted solutions to deal with the crisis, especially the crisis related to the work environment for all healthcare disciplines. I believe that the answers are in that book. And if a hospital will get a hold of a copy and just try or pilot one solution for 1 or 2 weeks and then roll it out to other units, they will see a remarkable difference in terms of attitude, in terms of gratitude, and in terms of outcomes.
The book is Healing Healthcare, Evidence-Based Strategies for Mending Our Broken System.
Absolutely.
All right, Sharon, we appreciate it, and I hope this makes a difference.
I hope so, too, and good luck to your daughter. She's going to owe over $200,000 in loans plus some.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Be prepared.
Believe me. Yeah, I'm not sleeping at night.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you so much. So give me the bad news, and then just enjoy your day. Have fun. Let me go to our Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers Wanted Person of the Week. On the line right now is Sergeant Scott Hogue with the Rome Police Department. In fact, Rome piloted Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers. It has grown to cover the entire region. I happen to be a part of the board. It is a great organization, especially today when there are so many people who don't want to be known if they're reporting a crime, fearful of what might happen to them, this is 100% anonymous. And each week we do a wanted person of the week. Sergeant Hogue, good morning. What do we have? Who do we have this week?
This morning I would like to talk about Joshua J. Tanner. He was born February 26, 1991. He's 34 years old. He's a white male, approximately 5'10", 180 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Last known address is somewhere in the city of Rome. If I get a second, I'd like to explain what he's wanted for.
Yep.
He's wanted on one charge of burglary in the third degree issued from the Rome City Court. There's an arrest warrant issued for Mr. Tanner, and all the charges stem from a larceny that occurred in the month of February 2025. Tanner is also wanted by the United County Sheriff's Department for a separate charge of burglary in the third. He has no known address, but is believed to be in the Rome area.
Okay, so this is the last lived in Rome, or just known to be somewhere in the Rome area.
He last lived in Rome. We have run-ins with him, but
okay.
We don't have a solid address now.
All right, and again, what people can there are different ways you can report this. If someone has seen this person, if they have some knowledge, you can do this. The beauty of this is it can be all done anonymously.
Correct. And we do appreciate the community's help, and they have, they have helped us apprehend many people in the past with just their tips. So we're looking for their assistance again today.
All right. Okay, Sergeant, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for what you guys do.
Thank you, sir.
All right, have a great day. That full story on the Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers Wanted Person of the Week will be up on our website coming right up, WIBX950.com. We'll do news. Manaski has news. Then we'll do Habaika's free money question of the day this morning. It's worth $200. And then Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshaw, good question for her on this last guest on these hospitals and the demands on the hospitals, the lack of physicians, and just the overwhelming control that insurance companies have, which have basically tied the hands of the medical experts when it comes to treating the people they know and they deal with day in and day out. It's just a system that seems to be flawed. How do you fix it? Maybe the book that Sharon Weinstein was talking about could be part of the answer. We'll speak with Marianne on that, plus the delay for the 6th straight year of the state budget, and her reaction to the state wanting to release inmates. Because we don't have the COs. Does it get, just for a moment, take a deep breath. Does it feel like everything is falling to pieces? I mean, does it feel different? I mean, you've been doing this, Jeff, for a long time. Does it feel different today? It just feels like all of the infrastructure that we've relied on over the years seems to be either be questioned or just falling to pieces. Or is this just Groundhog Day? Where year after year after year, we hear that same old Sonny and Cher song. I've got you, babe.
I know things aren't the same, but how do you always say this?
Will Rogers once said, "Things aren't the way they used to be, and probably never were."
Thank you.
Gotta love it. Quick break. Manaski does news coming up.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/radio. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit.
Still rain showers up to 45 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaske, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. News time is 7:36. Oneida County granted an injunction allowing for the hiring of terminated New York State correctional officers. Governor Kathy Hochul had issued an executive order banning local agencies from hiring those officers and staff. About 2,000 correction officers were fired last month after they did not return to work after a 3-week strike. A judge says the county was able to prove the governor harmed efforts to fill vacancies in the Oneida County Sheriff's Department. Onondaga County is now threatening the owners of 9 hotels with felony charges. Those are your local hotels in the Syracuse area. The DA's office says it'll charge those hotels with a felony if they do not turn over a nearly $2 million total worth of unpaid room taxes. Hotel owners collected a 7% room occupancy tax on the county's behalf and are supposed to turn that money over every 3 months. But the 9 hotels have held on to that money for years, and any charges are expected to be revealed soon. The Supreme Court ruling in favor of the FDA related to its refusal to approve flavored e-cigarettes. The High Court tossed an appeals court ruling that said the agency unlawfully changed the rules during the middle of the court proceedings when it was deciding to approve certain products or not. Despite the FDA's denying of many vape-related products, flavored e-cigarettes remained available across the country. The issue is now set to be decided by a lower court. And Steven Spielberg and George Lucas topped the latest Forbes list of celebrity billionaires. The latest Forbes ranking of the world's wealthiest people includes 18 celebrities, with film director Steven Spielberg topping the list at $5.3 billion. Star Wars creator George Lucas is in second place with a net worth of $5.1 billion. Rounding out the top 5 are NBA legend Michael Jordan, $3.5 billion, Oprah Winfrey, $3 billion, and wrestling mogul Vince McMahon, who is also worth about $3 billion.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Especially after all of the turmoil that's come out with him. Still worth a lot of money. Gotta love it.
WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:38. Here's your forecast from Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Ray Stajic.
Winter weather advisories just to our north will continue to be in effect for some leftover mixed precipitation. It's going to go away, and actually everybody getting into the warm sector. See some showers and thunderstorms here today. Temperatures get into the upper 60s. Tonight, maybe a shower early, 42. 30s in the North Country. Friday, partly sunny, 55. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM at 92.3 FM.
It's raining in 45. Weather Channel meteorologist Ray Stajic with the latest.
It's awesome to have Ray back, by the way, right?
Yes, it is.
Speaking of Vince McMahon.
Okay, Davey.
He's in talks with Fox about starting up another wrestling promotion.
Like another wrestling
to
league?
compete with the WWE?
Yeah, because he's
out of it now.
He's out of it. So he's in talks with Fox to start up another
Here's the
wrestling alliance.
If he's got how many?
$3 billion.
Go off on vacation. Go have a, what do you want, caller 5? Go buy a yacht and go on the yacht you already own and have some fun. Right? Be like Belichick. Find some 25-year-old.
Hold on. That's where I was going.
Yeah,
I guess I second guessed it, and I wasn't going to go there. I mean, he's facing still serious allegations about.
I know. I would get out on some independent seaway where they can't get to you, and not where I'm trying to start up another wrestling league. Crazy. Let's do Mike's free money question of the day. By the way, Mike says it's a good thing, this in regards to the Vince McMahon, it's a good thing Vince has all his money as soon as his wife will be out of a job. Soon his wife will be out of a job and on unemployment. All right. Got to... this is also a good question on comments. I got a ton of comments that I haven't gotten to yet. Rob says, what does Morehouse say about the tariffs? That would be a very interesting. You should check and see what.
I'll text him.
I already know what he's going to say. He's going to be all in on Trump. I've never heard him say anything in contrast to what President Trump has said. But let's see what he says. Maybe I'm wrong. Call out number 5. Hobica's free money question of the day. It's worth $200. Fifth caller right now at 315-736-0186 right now at WIBX.
Mattress Express's closeout sale on brand new leftover inventory and floor models. Right now, buy a king or queen and get a free adjustable base. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans available as well.
Coming Saturday, April 5th.
The Rome Capitol Theater presenting the Paragon Ragtime Orchestra in a pageant of American music, featuring theater organist David Peckham. The Paragon Ragtime Orchestra is the world's only year-round professional ensemble, recreating America's original music, the syncopated sounds of our country's popular music from the 1890s through the 1920s. Saturday, April 5th at 7 p.m. Tickets and information at romecapital.com.
Tickets on sale now.
Only 2 things in life are certain, death and taxes. How about one more? Switch from Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile to cut your bill in half with Pure Talk. For just $25 a month, you get unlimited talk, text, 5 gigs of data on America's most dependable 5G network. Making the switch, it's simple, fast, and easy. You dial pound 250, you say the keyword Pure Talk, and make the switch. You do it now, you save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, wireless, by Americans, for Americans.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you gotta hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Da, 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 da. I'm singing along to the bumper music because I know Andrew's back from Florida, so he would want me to do that.
Is he?
Well, hello there, Miss. What did he always do? He almost sound like he was. A woman walks in the studio, and Andrew would turn into Rhett from Gone with the Wind. Well, hello there, Miss Nancy. How are you doing? Right?
That's so true.
Oh, it's so funny.
Do we have a Miss Tanya on the line?
Well,
trying
hello
to win
there,
some money?
Miss. Well, hello there, Miss Tanya from Marcy. How are you now?
Good. Good morning.
All right. Well, listen, I think this is a doable question. It's $200 on the line, $200 for you to walk away with, and I hope you win. Are you ready to go? You know you're going to have 7 seconds to answer the question. Oops, that music is still playing. Can you kill that? Or you're good to go, Davey? You know what's going on? Okay, are you ready, Tanya?
Yeah.
Okay, here is your question. This is called Finish the Category. Finish the category. If you're playing Trivial Pursuit, finish this category. Art and blank. Ready, go. Art and blank.
Is it entertainment?
It is not.
Crafts?
It is. Keep trying. Keep trying.
Art and leisure.
Ah, good one, but wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Any idea there, Tanya? Art. And what did you say?
Culture.
Literature.
Art and literature.
So the categories, the original categories of Trivial Pursuit: geography, entertainment, history, art and literature, science and
technology,
nature.
Oh.
Boy, we're just striking out, aren't we? And believe me, if I didn't have the answers in front of me, I would be with you, striking out. But here's one I think we'll all get. Come on. How about for $50? Davey, get back in here. Get back in here. Hurry up. All right. Well, you got to give me the answer right away. For $50. Are you ready for this, Tanya?
Yes.
For $50. Sports and blank. Ready, go. 3, 2, 1.
Sports.
Yeah,
and...
too late, Davey.
I don't know.
Sports and it's leisure. Leisure.
It is sports and leisure.
And leisure.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you had arts and leisure. You had history and nature, which is science and nature. You had entertainment and geography, which don't even fit. I don't know where that came from. All right. We're going to give you the all-in-one food and fun card. It's a $25 gift card good at Aquavino, at Babes, at Taylor and the Cook, at Nexus, at the Adirondack Bank Center, and the list goes on. Great playing with you, Tanya. Stand by. Davey's going to take care of you, okay?
Thank you.
Right, thank you so much. Wayne, quickly before I go to Marianne. Hi, Wayne. Good morning.
Well, hello, Bill, Jeff, and Davey.
Well, hello there, Mr. Wayne. How you doing now?
I do declare. Andrew does do that. That's cool. That you made me laugh. I almost spit my coffee everywhere.
It's so funny. I will tell you that even at his wedding, as he was coming up the aisle, the two of them met eyes, and they looked, and they were teared up. I was performing the ceremony, so I heard it, and he said, "Well, hello there, Miss Hannah."
Did he really?
No, he didn't.
I could see him doing that, though.
No, it was
Did he have a fan fanning himself?
I have to say, it was one of the most beautiful weddings, and I'm not that's not me.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it was a wedding. It went off really well. It seemed pretty good, I think.
Andrew's classy. Andrew's a pretty classy guy.
It was.
It would be good.
It was wonderful, and it was emotional. I mean, the two of them were literally teary-eyed and happy. So it was awesome. All right.
They look like a beautiful couple.
Yes.
So, Bill, the Vince McMahon. Do you think that somebody like the corporation, like what he has, or do you think that they have like an insurance type, like insurance that they have in place for when they do something wrong, like, this sexual harassment or whatever comes along, any lawsuits? Do they have like a kitty or something that's just there for the taking? That they know that it's coming. They know it's inevitable.
Yeah.
That someone's going to do something. Do you think they have something like that, like a standing pot ready for them to? I'm
trying to think. To me, there may be some crazy, like Lloyd's of London may offer a pervert insurance or something. I don't know, but I think when you break the law, the insurance company's out of it.
Yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if, first of all, the value of the company, if some of that, if they just said we're going to settle and it's X, Y, and Z, and it goes on the books as a legal expense or something like that. Or to be honest with you, but Wayne, I almost think in some cases, if I could be wrong on this, Smitty might know. Did he pay out of pocket to settle some of these? He might have paid out of his own pocket.
They may very well have said, yeah.
But as when they do that, just like when Trump did the whole Stormy Daniels thing, it comes back to bite you. Whether you pay them or not, they want more. Because they know they got some, they want more.
Well,
I feel like the most...
I'm just saying, when there's a settlement and everybody agrees on it, that should be the end of it. But, they opened the books on Bill Cosby, remember? That was a sealed deal. They cut a deal, and they reopened that. So, all right, Wayne, I gotta move on because I have Mary Ann waiting.
Have a good day.
Okay,
I feel like the most flimsy word in the courtroom these days, or the legal world, is NDA, because everybody signs them, and then you end up finding out anyway.
Yeah, they're right. It gets out. Mary Ann Buttonshaw, Assemblywoman, on the line right now. These are crazy times. Mary Ann, good morning.
Good morning to everybody.
Okay, I do want to just ask, were you going to say something else and I cut you off? I'm sorry.
No, I just was agreeing with you. The word crazy might be a little underrated.
You're right. Maybe that's not I got to come up with a new word. Listen, this is off topic, but I want your opinion, and I would wonder if you would have any interest in this book, which is by Sharon Weinstein, called Healing Healthcare: Evidence-Based Strategies for Mending Our Broken System. And, we're all complaining. People complain, well, the hospital, they said they were going to get new doctors and bigger staff, better staff. There would be businesses around the hospital, et cetera, et cetera. All of these things that were going to happen. I do think COVID got in the way. I think we're in a brick and mortar crisis right now in the United States where, Amazons of the world are taking over. But what she's saying is this doctor shortage and talent shortage in the health care field is a problem nationwide because of just so much red tape when it comes to insurance companies, et cetera, et cetera. And it's so difficult for physicians today. Quality of life is so bad that no one wants to be a doctor anymore, and we have a major shortage. But she's written a book that gives hospitals 10 different things that they could do and implement that would make life better for their staff. And I would wonder if you would be interested in that and what your thoughts are. It seems like this problem of a shortage of doctors and nurses is not a Utica problem, but an America problem.
Yes, and I haven't read the book, but anybody that has any ideas for solutions, I was at the Masonic Medical Research Institute event the other night and met a young lady, a local young lady that is going to be a doctor and wants to practice here.
Yeah.
So that is just the most wonderful. I have to give a lot of credit to her parents, and
right.
But I have to say that it's more of many of our great doctors in this area are working on this to determine how. Obviously, I'd love them to come to the Mohawk Valley, but you are 100% right. It's a nationwide issue, but it's talking about. I think a little bit more of what you've provided is if someone has some ideas. I mean, I'm not sure if you're aware, but Rome Hospital presented at a national conference talking about how they were overcoming and the programs that they put forward so that they didn't have the traveling nurses.
Right.
burden.
Yeah, they did fairly well during all of this. Yep.
In the Mohawk Valley, and I commend them for it. I ask them to share it with everybody locally. And, it's just a little bit of, reimbursement for individuals that want to better themselves within education, those that want to move up. And I look forward to reading this.
I'll send this information to you. And interesting. And these are two people that are nurses in the field that feel they've come up with great solutions that could help, and one of them is just the paperwork and everything. The fact that insurance companies determine what medicine we get to take and don't, not your doctor. That's a big problem. Let me switch to an embarrassment.
Can I just add one thing, though, to that's so important, as you stated? We receive many calls in regards to the struggles of paperwork and licensure, and the challenge that we face is many of the professionals want to make sure that everyone is clearly competent. So what do we do to these processes. So it is a constant discussion in Albany that we all that I take very important, but I'm open to any other great ideas.
Okay. Let's talk about sixth straight year, a delayed budget in the state. Yeah, here we go again.
Yes. And clearly we see that policy is providing a lot of the bottleneck in the sense of discussions that aren't related to budget. So clearly discovery, very important. I had the DA's office as well as the public defender's office come and provide me a briefing about what changes should be. I agree that changes need to be enforced, and if it's legislatively, then let's get it done as quick as possible. I ask everyone that comes to talk to me about discovery, we're forgetting that there's victims.
Right.
And individuals that started their day like all of us and then unfortunately became a victim. And to hear that the system might not work for them is not acceptable.
And for people to know what this means, you could be a rape victim, and the rapist, everyone deserves a fair trial, absolutely. But the rapist could come, and let's say you were raped in your home, the rapist could come to your home with their attorney and tour the home as part of discovery. Can you imagine the torture that would cause on a rape victim? It's just unbelievable.
And I think that can't happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand that this is part of holding up a budget. I've been advised since this policy started moving into budget bills during the Pataki era.
Yeah.
And it is just part of this premise. Mask in public is another conversation, and I don't understand why a protester needs to wear a mask other than if there is exceptions, if we're talking about religious practices or
Well, you don't want to get the
medical.
flu. I mean, really. And you don't want somebody to see who you really are, right?
Once you
that's
grant
what it's all about.
Once there's an exception, though, I'll just use myself as an example. If I'm going to go protest and throw bricks at a building or whatever, I'm just going to wear something that covers my face. And if anyone stops me, I don't have you don't carry a religious ID card, and nor should you.
Yeah.
But I'll just say I'm whatever religion fits the exemption.
Well, the Holy Maskites have been for years wearing masks, and it is
I'm thinking of like a burqa, right, that the women wear?
Right. But what is happening, Marianne, is they're wearing masks because they don't want someone to see them break the law, and they don't want to get caught on camera.
Right.
And then finally,
I don't know. You're right, Bill. I mean, I think it's just and to your, the point of so you're wearing it. Well, at least they can be approached. Why are you wearing a mask?
Right. Okay, that's another interesting one we're going to be looking at. And finally, 45 seconds. The governor wants to release or less. The governor wants to release inmates from jail. Your thoughts? I would assume you're against this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We cannot do this. This is not an answer. We have a system that is overwhelmed. So now what are we going to do? We're going to tell our parole officers that have been working just as many long hours to help support the issues we're seeing within the correctional facility, and now we're going to say, okay, now we're going to triple your load.
Yes.
I just don't understand. I asked yesterday, so I had a debriefing yesterday.
I'm coming up on I hate to do this on you, but I'm coming up on a break. If I can get you on the other side, or we'll get you back here, I would appreciate that. But I'm glad to hear you're against it, and we appreciate what you're doing out there.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And take care.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
China calls it bullying. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. As leaders around the world worry about new American tariffs.
Let's be clear-eyed about the immense consequences.
The global economy will massively suffer.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says they are among those readying retaliation, and it's not going over well on Wall Street. A stock market plunge is brewing. Dow futures falling about 1,200 points ahead of next hour's opening bell. But President Trump insists this will be remembered as
the day that we began to make America wealthy again.
Insisting his reciprocal tariffs on countries that charge for American exports will bring in money and bring manufacturing back.
The president announced that baseline 10% tariff on all U.S. imports effective April 5th. And then nations that the president considers to be bad actors are facing additional duties. China, for instance, gets a total of 54%, Vietnam 46%, 32% for Taiwan, 24% for Japan, and the EU was hit with 20%. The baseline 10 goes into effect on Friday, while about 60 countries facing those higher reciprocal tariffs will see those rates go into effect April 9th.
Well, that's Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. About 15 million Americans under a tornado watch as a storm system keeps moving through like yesterday. 2 people were killed in Tennessee, another in Missouri, with damage in other states, too. From Indiana to Kentucky, where Fox Weather's Robert Ray is.
All of these supercells creating havoc one after another as the tornado sirens rang here in Paducah and so many communities. A very scary situation. And just to think, we are nowhere out of the woods at this point. Tornado watches, at least here in Paducah, until midnight tonight and across multiple states. Nashville taking it this morning before the sun even comes up.
Some areas could get over a foot of rain, leading to widespread flash flood concerns. And they keep finding more bodies in Burma. The number of earthquake deaths now tops 3,000. America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Only 2 things in life are certain: death and taxes. How about one more? Switch from Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile to cut your bill in half with Pure Talk. For just $25 a month, you get unlimited talk, text, 5 gigs of data on America's most dependable 5G network. Making the switch, it's simple, fast, and easy. You dial pound 250, you say the keyword Pure Talk, and make the switch. You do it now, you save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, wireless, by Americans, for Americans.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams, mired in a controversy that angered his fellow Democrats, is distancing himself from the party now.
Although I am still a Democrat, I am announcing that I will forego the Democratic primary for mayor and appeal directly to all New Yorkers as an independent candidate in the general election.
The announcement on X comes one day after the federal bribery case against him was dismissed. In the video statement, Adams said he opted out of the June Democratic primary because the case dragged on too long and false accusations overshadowed his campaign. Matt Murphy, Fox News.
Now, New York's Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul had considered removing Adams as mayor, but did not. Amid allegations, Adams denies that he cooperated with the Trump crackdown on illegal immigration in order to get that criminal case dropped. Now, an immigration raid on New York's Long Island led to the arrest of an alleged MS-13 gang member in the U.S. illegally, while in Colorado, they've captured the second of 2 illegal immigrants who had escaped from Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody.
Venezuelan national Guilan Vito Romero was picked up by ICE in February. He's accused of ties to the transnational Tren de Aragua gang, which the White House has designated a terrorist group. Vito Romero walked out of doors that opened during a power outage at the ICE detention center in Aurora on March 18th. He was caught while riding a bus in Denver Tuesday. Court and police documents indicate Vito Romero had lived at the infamous Aurora apartment complex where armed TDA members were seen on video breaking into homes and intimidating residents. The other escapee, a Mexican national, was found days later. Tom Rigotti, Fox News.
In baseball, the defending World Series champion Dodgers remain undefeated, beating still winless Atlanta on a Shohei Ohtani walk-off home run. Los Angeles is now 8-0. San Diego also hasn't lost yet. The Padres won their first 7 games now after beating Cleveland. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Time Cloudy skies, still rain out there, 46 degrees. Good morning, I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. Oneida County granted an injunction which allows for the hiring of terminated New York State correctional facility staff. Governor Hochul had issued an executive order that banned local agencies from hiring those officers. Roughly 2,000 corrections officers were fired last month after they did not return to work following a strike that lasted 3 weeks. A judge says the county was able to prove the governor harmed efforts to fill vacancies in the Oneida County Sheriff's Department. The state attorney general's office says the Utica cop who shot and killed a teenager will not be charged. Last June, 13-year-old Naya Mwai was shot by the officer after he pointed what appeared to be a handgun at police. It was later discovered the teen was in possession of a pellet gun designed to look like a handgun. He was shot during a struggle with officers. Police stopped Mwai and another boy because they matched the descriptions of armed robbery suspects. Onondaga County threatening the owners of 9 local hotels with felony charges. The DA's office out there says it'll charge those hotels with a felony if they don't turn over nearly $2 million in unpaid room taxes. Hotel owners collect a 7% tax, an occupancy tax, on the county's behalf, and that money's supposed to be turned over every 3 months. But these 9 hotels have held on to that money for several years, and officials say any charges are expected to be revealed soon. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is coming up on 8:07. Here's your forecast.
Winter weather advisories just to our north will continue to be in effect for some leftover mixed precipitation. It's going to go away, and actually everybody getting into the warm sector. See some showers and thunderstorms here today. Temperatures get into the upper 60s. Tonight, maybe a shower early, 42. 30s in the North Country. Friday, partly sunny, 55. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM at 92.3 FM.
Cloudy skies, still some rain out there, and 46 degrees at 8:07.
Mattress Express's closeout sale on brand new leftover inventory and floor models. Right now, buy a king or queen and get a free adjustable base. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans available as well.
It's tax season. By now, we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number, $100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed. Save up to 40% in your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. That's LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
Attention vendors, crafters, and collectors looking for the perfect place to sell your goods and reach thousands of eager shoppers? It's the world's largest yard sale happening again this year at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 14th. It's the ultimate selling opportunity. No more setting up signs, hoping for traffic, or dealing with no-shows. At the world's largest yard sale, thousands of shoppers come ready to buy. Whether you sell antiques, collectibles, handmade crafts, vintage clothing, or secondhand treasures, this is the place to be. But hurry, booth spaces are filling up fast. Secure yours today and get ready to turn your inventory into instant cash. It's the world's largest yard sale at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 14th. Sell more, earn more, reserve your spot now. For vendor info and booth reservations, visit the events page on the station's website. Don't wait. This event is too big to miss. Sponsored by the Potting Shed Antique, John's Mobile Homes and Accessories, Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating, and James Mitsubishi.
It's tax season. By now, we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number, $100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed. Save up to 40% in your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. That's LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
Stop putting off registering for the 2025 Boilermaker Road Race because it's almost sold out. People are sprinting to Boilermaker.com to grab their racing bibs before they're gone. Reserve your spot at the starting line now and punch your ticket to the world's best post-race party, where there will be live music, drinks, food, and plenty of surprises. This year's Boilermaker will be bigger and better than ever, but the window to sign up is closing. So run, don't walk, to Boilermaker.com and sign up for one of America's most famous races. See you at the starting line, July 13th.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
You can do that now, Davey. Good God. Do that now.
I say good God.
8:10 right now. I want to bring in Marianne Buttonshaw for a few more points here on the budget that is late and some of the key issues that she's dealing with. Marianne, thanks for sticking through the break. And in your mind, what are the key issues? Obviously, you're definitely against this release of inmates early because we don't have the COs.
Yeah, and that's at this point not part of the budget, but it's a discussion that the commissioner is having, and I do not support it.
Yeah.
I've constantly requested for an independent investigation to take a look at how best to approach this, and the answer is not to release inmates into the community. And even though they identify that they have to have yesterday in the debriefing I had that they'll have to have a residence to live in, that just puts the burden on our parole officers, and they are already burdened to this point.
Mm-hmm.
This is a system that clearly we need to make sure there's safety inside our correctional facilities,
right,
as well as in our communities, and this is not an answer.
On the budget, what are key issues for you? How do we get this budget done? What's holding it back?
Well, and as we know, policy has taken on a big, hefty part of the discussion because it is looking at, as we had stated earlier, discovery, again, very important, needs to be changed. We need to make sure the resources are there. As I stated, I'm concerned about the victims that I hear from. The mask ban, I think it's important. I support it. I know, there's various comments of individuals that feel that it would be something that they would support, but I don't see, there is exceptions. Clearly, we're talking about the bell with no cell phones. I don't believe there's a need for cell phones in the schools. However, many of the districts that I represent have already enacted programs and have already been a part of it, and they're figuring it out on the local level.
Is that where you're at? I mean, don't you think it's better that the schools individually figure this out as opposed to politicians in Albany trying to mandate what they should do?
I do, because clearly I'd like to see that money go to just resources. Teacher salaries, they have shortages too. And what I see is they ask us not to provide unfunded state mandates. And what is going to happen when someone says, well, I can't afford to implement this?
Yeah.
So is it going to, this is a budget issue. There's money in the budget for this, but I don't know if it's enough money.
Right.
Do I think there shouldn't be cell phones in school? I certainly don't think they should be there.
Yeah.
But I do have faith that superintendents sit with the school boards to figure out how best it would work within their schools.
Yeah.
I mean, they've told me about these. Some of them, students put them in their lockers. They can use them during the lunch hour, and it works. I mean, so now we're going to say bell to bell. So now that district's going to have to change all their policies. I mean, I just don't see it financially coming up next year. We need money because we can't do this.
Yeah. All right. Interesting stuff. So when are you back? When does everybody have to go back?
So I'm in Albany now, and we need to do an extender today. We did an extender on Monday to today. It doesn't look like we're going to be moving, so we will continue with that. We are having discussions about budget. I mean, it's not that they're not happening. I mean, CHIPS funding, education, the CDPAP is important. I have so many different aspects. And what you brought up earlier about our health, We just had another fire department in Troy that stated they're not going to run their ambulance 24. I mean, it's just so many other priorities need to be discussed.
Right.
And that's clearly what we need to continue with in our discussions. But I anticipate the extender today being passed, and discussions will continue throughout the weekend.
All right. It lingers on. Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshon, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and have a nice day.
All right, you do the same. Good luck out there.
Bye-bye.
And I think you need it. Okay.
Thank you, I do.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.
County Executive Anthony Pacini on the line right now, and interesting news in court, which I kind of felt like it was going to go this way. Tony, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. So obviously this mandate, this executive order from the governor preventing counties like Oneida County, Herkimer County, Madison, other counties from hiring these corrections officers who are no longer working for the state, just did not seem to be something that would fly, and it looks like the courts agree.
Well, the courts agree on Oneida County because we were the only ones to extend and to challenge on the entire executive order and really in specific parts that that prohibiting our ability to hire these individuals was a harm to us.
Right.
Because it is, especially when we're under tight controls and mandates and then just lack of workforce and the like. So the court agreed with us that this was somewhat of an overreach and granted a temporary restraining order in which we can begin to hire, and we are hiring as we speak. There are, I think, 3 starting this morning. We have approximately 40 plus applications and requests, and individuals that are going through the physicals and the necessary requirements, but we still have a ways to go on this order because there are other pieces of it, and in particular the order of the question of the registry, which is critical to the ability of not just when we hire these people, if they're required to go back into training, and that's another argument that we've made. We're referring to them as separated in this regard because the letters in which these officers have received refer specifically to a provision in their contract in which it states that if they fail to appear after 10 straight days of not going to work, on the 11th day they're considered resigned. Right. So there's a question on the state's end and on the court's end as well, is okay, what is it, did you terminate or did they resign? And if they resign, they stay on the registry.
Right.
And if they're terminated, for other cause, depending on whether the court agrees that causes the violation of the Taylor law and not any other egregious incident in which falls in line to removal from the registry. So then, there's a whole slew of questions here, but clearly we had a great victory in this, in making this case. We had hoped it would have been sooner and we would have been able to hire earlier, because we did file our papers on the 16th and the court didn't hear it until April 1st. Or it didn't get to the court, but between that and we have to go back into court on May 2nd to see if this is permanent.
All right, so that's when. So May 2nd is when you'll find out if this is going to be permanent, which would end the whole situation. Is there a consideration at all, and I realize you have your attorneys who have obviously she's done a great job crafting this challenge to the governor because you are where you are right now. But is there a consideration of the poor working conditions that these COs were dealing with? The fact that there was no quality of life. If this was a regular business treating their employees this way, the state would step in and stop it from happening. But it was the state doing this. Is there any consideration of that whatsoever as part of this lawsuit?
Yeah, I would think that it's not on our end. Obviously our end is looking at this executive order from all points, starting with home rule, starting with the ability to hire and subverting municipal law and all that, but then the ability of harming us by not being able to hire these individuals and placing all these other restrictions. When it comes to the conditions, I think that's something that I would expect the union would deal with in that regard, and state that again, I repeated, I think I said it on the show last week, that had we been doing that as a correctional facility, you can bet your 2 cents that they would have been in on us and closed us down or did some kind of sanctions or fines or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I find it, really hard for them to get away from that argument.
Yeah.
The more ridiculous argument now is the fact that they want to dismiss or early exit, thousands of inmates because they've created for a problem that they created.
Right.
In which, the shortage of correction officers, which they had previously, they magnified that situation, and now are seeking to release inmates that committed crimes that have not fulfilled their sentences, and with no regard for the victims. Again, we're in a state in which, depending on what happens in this budget, I urge you talking with Mary Ann, nothing's going to get fixed in this.
Right.
And that's the shame of it all.
Well, if you wind up in jail, you've done something, because it's not easy to wind up in jail in New York State today. So the fact that we're releasing these people without them completing their sentence is or going through the process.
And they're stating, well, they're the nonviolent. Well, what's nonviolent? Is a DWI nonviolent? Is a domestic nonviolent? Of course it is. Is a burglary nonviolent? I mean, all of these things. And the sheriff, I thought, articulated it greatly yesterday. He said, what about the victims of these crimes in which, these people are being released, and then to throw them back into the system in which we now have to deal with probation and another, additional burden. It's just, the ability of this governor to create one problem after another without fixing anything is remarkable. That's just keep compounding this problem where it could have been fixed
just
months ago.
Think about how, just look at the timeline through all of this and how it went down. The fact that we were already 2,000 COs short. Don't you think if someone else would have been at the helm, they would have stepped in and said, all right, we're going to get to the bottom of this. We've got to figure this out. There's got to be a way to make these conditions better. There's got to be a way to attract more people. This is where the buck stops, right? It stops at the top.
It does. And, they talked about, and now, we're going to see, I'm sure in this budget, or as a result of it, because she had the ability, I know, through the legislature to close 5 facilities across the state. What is that going to mean? And what is that going to do in terms of a shift not only of inmates that would have to be moved or released under this administration's crazy beliefs, or and then what happens to the officers? So.
Right.
I think we're going to this is not, it's far from over. While we've achieved this victory, and I do have to credit, you mentioned Amanda Cortez-Colas did a great job in putting this together, and other counties were looking at us waiting, and now they're all saying, well, how'd you do that? Well, we did it because we needed to do it. We needed to stand up. We needed to, look at the harm that it was causing us, and the issue that, the other bigger piece is that not have a governor, put in these executive orders that take away the right of our, local governments to govern in our way. And so, all of that and rolled up into one is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And to just say that, well, it's going to expire is not enough. So,
all right,
we'll have to see where this goes.
Okay. Well, one victory and one feather in the cap. There you go.
Well, we'll keep pushing. So
collecting the feathers.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right,
so.
All right,
and
Tony.
Wait for the state, and then wait for the state budget to get.
Boy, oh boy.
On top of it.
The fact that and talking with Marianne, I don't think they have any idea when there's going to be resolution, when they're going to get a budget.
I talked to Senator Griffith at length yesterday, and the same thing. He's like, he goes, I don't know. Because if I would guess, it would be somewhere around the the Passover or Easter, or even then they could just break and then come back, and who knows.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. We appreciate the update. Thank you.
Okay. Take care.
Have a great day. County Executive Anthony Pacini. Stand by. Coming up, Scott in Kirkville with a preview of the Final Four. John Decker, Chief White House Correspondent with Gray TV, will be on to talk about, tariffs underway. Davey, watch him run from room to room, back and forth, as we're a bit on the shorthanded side here this morning. And there's a great event coming up that does great things for this community. We'll talk about that. Happening next to WIBX.
Only two things in life are certain: death and taxes. How about one more? Switch from Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile to cut your bill in half with Pure Talk. For just $25 a month, you get unlimited talk, text, 5 gigs of data on America's most dependable 5G network. Making the switch, it's simple, fast, and easy. You dial pound 250, you say the keyword Pure Talk, and make the switch. You do it now, you save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, wireless, by Americans, for Americans.
Do it old school with Heritage Logging and Tree Removal, the area's go-to land clearing company. They specialize in tree removal, land clearing, stump grinding, and more. For your free estimate, call 315-796-2941 or visit heritagelogging.com.
It's tax season. By now, we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number, $100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed. Save up to 40% in your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. That's LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
Winter weather advisories just to our north will continue to be in effect for some leftover mixed precipitation. It's going to go away, and actually everybody getting into the warm sector. See some showers and thunderstorms here today. Temperatures get into the upper 60s. Tonight, maybe a shower early, 42. 30s in the North Country. Friday, partly sunny, 55. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM at 92.3 FM.
Only two things in life are certain: death and taxes. How about one more? Switch from Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile to cut your bill in half with Pure Talk. For just $25 a month, you get unlimited talk, text, 5 gigs of data on America's most dependable 5G network. Making the switch, it's simple, fast, and easy. You dial pound 250, you say the keyword Pure Talk, and make the switch. You do it now, you save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, wireless, by Americans, for Americans.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All righty now. I want to tell you the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. And I have a sandwich for you to try if you're feeling any bit of hunger at this point. And I always save it for now because I'm feeling a little hunger right now. Daylight Donuts, the official coffee of this radio program. The coffee is Seattle's best, and it is delicious. Try iced coffee, their amazing cold brew coffee. Everything is made fresh every morning, including the donuts, croissants, and bagels. Now introducing their new breakfast sandwich. It's the egg white frittata made with egg white, spinach, tomato, and feta cheese. You can have it on a bagel, English muffin, or the amazing croissants that they make there in-house every morning. This sandwich is so good. I am on breakfast sandwiches. I am a ketchup on everything person. No ketchup on this. You will not need anything. The flavor is amazing. Check it out at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. In studio right now, we have Leslie Nicolette is the Director of Development and Communications at the Rescue Mission, and Jace is the Director of HR. Guys, good morning.
Good morning.
And we have a big event coming up, right?
Yeah. So we have the Miles for Miracles 5K run and 1 mile walk Saturday, May 3rd in Proctor Park.
Which is a great starter, by the way, for the Boilermaker.
Great start for the Boilermaker. I mean, running is a hallmark of this community.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to add some of that and having an event that helps the community as well.
And if you could, Leslie, tell me how you're raising money and how does that help the Rescue Mission?
Yes, well, at the Rescue Mission, people are not aware, but we do several different things. We have many different programs offering assistance with substance use disorder, mental health, bringing more awareness to and assistance dealing with people's mental health issues, and of course always the home insecurity, homelessness, and food scarcity as well. So we just cover a variety of things that help our community. We're always trying to get people to a more healthy place, and we've been doing that since 1890 here in the Mohawk Valley.
And don't you feel like the need and the importance of the Rescue Mission has grown so much over the last probably 10, 15 years, since the state has really backed away from a lot of the programs that used to be available?
You're exactly right. Just in 2024 alone, we saw an increase of 30% usage in our food pantry. So our food pantry provides 15 meals per person, and they come and get a food box. And we're so thankful that we can provide that. We have a relationship with the Food Bank of Central New York, and it's just a blessing to our community.
Jace, so the 5K, the 1 mile walk as well. How do people get involved, and how do you raise money? Is it just through admission or?
Through admission and through some of our sponsors as well.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of excellent, local businesses coming on board to help us put on this event. But if you want to get involved, you can visit uticamission.org. We have the registration through there for the run and the walk. And even if you can't participate in the event, it's a great place to donate as well.
Yeah. What's the course going to be like? I know you're starting in Proctor Park?
Yep. We are starting at TR Proctor Park. The course will run through TR and then go up to FT Proctor Park as well.
Okay.
So you get a little bit of both.
Okay, cool. And you'll get through 5K through all of that?
Yes.
All right. And you're a runner.
Yes.
You're running the Boilermaker too?
This year, no. I'm nursing an injury right now, unfortunately, but hopefully next year.
Are you running this?
No, I got to put on the event.
Yeah. So you're going to be busy working it.
Yes.
But you understand how to do this because you are a runner. It starts at 9:15 in the morning on Saturday, May 3rd. Go to the website to sign up. The more, the merrier. But really a great practice run, if you will. If you're running the 15K, this is a cool way to get yourself in shape and ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, Leslie, you want to add here?
Just wanted to say that it is, if you sign up now, you get early bird pricing for the registration. The price is going to increase a little bit closer to the race. So just if you're planning on it, go ahead, sign up, and just come out for that day and support. Bring your family. If they're not all runners, some can walk. It's going to be a great event. We're hoping to have some food truck there, and just come out and support this, the Rescue Mission.
And I'm pretty sure by May 3rd, we should be having some nice weather.
Hopefully, yes.
Let's hope.
Yeah. Well, we're a hardy bunch. We can deal with some cold for a good cause.
Yes. It could be snowing, and we'll still be out there.
Exactly.
So. All right, great stuff, guys. Thank you. And the Rescue Mission website is
uticamission.org.
uticamission.org. All right.
Yes.
Both of you, Jace and Leslie, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Quick break, and we'll come back here, talk a little hoops action, all for number one teams are in this weekend.
Since 2008.
First time since way back then. And Davey, you have an exact, perfect Final Four right now.
Yes, I do.
Almost like you just needed to pick the favorites this year. There were a couple of upsets, but this was one of those years where those who were supposed to win usually ended up winning.
I had St. John's making it to the Elite Eight, and they got knocked out in the second round by Arkansas.
One of your few flaws in your bracket. Listen, start the new year debt-free and stress-free with GPO Federal Credit Union. Simplify your finances with balanced transfer rates as low as 3.99% APR for 12 months, or consolidate high-interest debt into one manageable payment with personal loans. And it doesn't end there. GPO has partnered with a program called Balance to help you with virtual or in-person sessions with financial advisors. Together, they'll help you create a personalized plan to help you take control of your finances and achieve the goals you need to achieve. Let GPO help. Debt-free, stress-free. Start your journey with GPO today. Subject to credit approval. Membership eligibility required. Rates and terms based on credit worthiness. Balance transfer rates revert back to the normal card rate after the 12th month. Contact GPO. Thank you, guys, for more information. It's 836 WIBX.
It's tax season. By now, we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number, $100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed. Save up to 40% in your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. That's LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
On today's episode of America's Least Wanted, the home invaders most likely to threaten your family are not human. Cockroaches can spread salmonella and trigger asthma attacks. Termites destroy billions of dollars in property each year. And stinging insects send 500,000 people to emergency rooms. Learn how to protect your family. Arm yourself with the facts at pestworld.org. A public service announcement from the National Pest Management Association.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
I don't know if you felt this morning, the thunderstorm, the booming, the flashes of lightning and the heavy rain. But it was felt kind of like a little spring action this morning with thunder and lightning. A couple of stories I've not gotten to as of yet. Charges are being filed against a former school principal in Florida. This is where all the great stories come from. Florida, accused of throwing a party with hundreds of underage kids attending and drinking. He was the principal of the school. Here is the detective, Sergeant Taylor Payne, and a parent in the area, parent of one of the students, talking about the big party thrown by, of all people, the school principal.
We have interviews with juveniles who stated that she was present early in the night directing juveniles how to set the party up.
You got to make right decisions, especially with kids. You know, it's just, I don't know, it's a really bad choice of decisions. That's all I got to say about it. I'm upset as a parent, that's for sure.
Well, you normally wouldn't expect, right? You normally would not expect the principal of the school to be the one throwing the party. Today it's a big day. It is National Burrito Day. If you care, you want to celebrate. Mailmen and dogs, a classic matchup. If you're a delivery person, Manaski, even Manaski delivering, says he's been bitten by a dog. Only one, but he's been chased by a few. A lot of delivery people will bring dog biscuits to assist. That kind of helps. But a mailman in Massachusetts went against 3 wild turkeys the other day. They chased him through someone's yard, and security cameras caught the whole thing on video. Here's how.
Go away! Go away!
There he is yelling at the turkeys, go away. The thing is with turkeys and geese, Davey, I don't know if have you ever been chased by a farmyard goose?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Do you know what a goose will do? And even if a goose, especially if the goose is protecting its
young. It will get your gander. The goose gets your gander.
The goose will, it'll get your gander, all right. It'll bite you right in the behind. Geese are pretty aggressive. I've never seen a turkey, though, go after a person. But I guess it happens. Let me take Joe on the line right now. Joseph, have you ever been chased by a wild turkey?
Not a wild turkey, but I've been ran. Maybe a raccoon or two chased me.
Listen, raccoons are very smart, and they do things. There are a whole bunch of a series of raccoon videos up on YouTube you can watch. These are very smart animals. You have your bin, your garbage bin. A raccoon will open the top of that garbage bin and climb inside and get what's inside. It's crazy.
Well, my niece has got a basset hound that'll open up her refrigerator and grab everything that's in it.
Okay, she's not trained him to pull out the Utica Club.
No, it doesn't touch the UC, but it goes after the hot dogs and hamburgers.
Okay, all right. What's up, Joe? Good morning.
Well, I was listening yesterday, and I said, that was awful nice of Lucia to say, hey, I haven't seen Joe Load. I remember the good old days when I used to take her to the supermarket. I don't know if you remember this, but we opened up all the cheese, put it on a platter, and had her passing out samples. And she didn't work there.
I do remember that. It'd be crazy if I could bring her into this conversation. Lucia, say hi to Joe.
Hi, Joe. Wow, I remember you, of course. Remember, we were giving everything away, and I made up a name for the cheeses. And the people liked it. They went to ask, can I buy it in? They said, we don't have such a thing. They're selling it over there, and then the manager came, but he was excited. He was excited because he was on the Bill Keeler show.
Right,
so
right. That always
they love the Bill, and so
got us out of the trouble.
Like, yeah.
Oh, Joe, I know there's a few times you were out there, and the word love isn't how they described their feelings towards me.
No, well, there was a love-hate kind of back in the day.
It was a love-hate. It was a love-hate, yeah. Yeah,
but you know what? Your track record is proven. I mean, you're still here, right? You're
somehow,
still somehow, some way, you manage to just keep it going, man.
That's right.
I don't know how you do it, to be honest, mentally, because I can't imagine you're not drained by now.
Oh, I'm drained. I barely have a mental left, so I'm just saying. Joe, I appreciate that. Thank you. And Lucia, I got to move on, but anything you want to add? I'll give you the final word.
Oh, yeah, the final word is today because of what you said to Joe Load. What I want to say is a love-hate relationship. Bill, a lot of people love you so much everywhere, okay? For the way back. And they tell me as I go along even now. And the hate goes with it because that's life. And,
life.
Not everybody's loved by everybody.
That is true. That'll be the word of advice for the day. Joe, take that and take it to heart. All right, Lucia. Joe, thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
Have a great day.
All right, you guys do the same. Scott is in Kirkville, and we have a major mate. You want to add to that?
This guy that's coming on right now is the most loved comedian at the Colonial Laundromat comedy tour.
He is.
The big Sudsy.
Yeah.
It's so bad that he told me last night that he's going back to Trumansburg for Act 2.
We're going back to Trumansburg. And in fact, you know what? The Trumansburg and Ilion have actually something in common. Trumansburg actually made there's a company This actually made Winchesters. Is that based out of Trumansburg?
I did not know that. I did not.
Indeed.
Did not.
That's a nugget right there. We're not
That
talking Denver Nuggets or nothing like that. You know.
How about that? What's his name from Denver? Scored 63 points the other night.
Jokic.
Yeah.
Jokic.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Joker. Yeah. A couple things. Is Ryan Noble on today?
Ryan was on yesterday.
Oh man!
I don't know why there's a rim shot there, but
yeah. Well, basically, when I used to, be able to watch it, when Ryan was on, that was my official pee break from the Bill Keeler show.
Okay, all right.
That was it, though,
yes.
and so we're kind of hoping maybe maybe Chuck Lester is listening, because I'm sure he would prove
could be
that
possible.
too.
Yes, he's out there as well.
But
what do you think of these games? I mean, listen, you got all 4 number ones.
Well, that's it. We thought that was the way it's going to be, just the way that the season evolved. It just was the way it is, and unfortunately, the mid-majors aren't going to be able to survive, I think, the NIL unless they got a sugar daddy. And if you're good, you're going somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, like I said, Syracuse plucked a guy from Hofstra and a guy from Delaware. And if those were at those two teams, who knows? They might do well.
Yeah.
Delaware was actually in the finals of their conference, and who knows? But so it's just the way it's going to be. It's interesting because the Duke-Houston game, watch the referees. That's going to be the key, because Houston wants to be aggressive, and somehow, some way, when they played Purdue in the second half, the 5 fouls called against them. And of course, Duke, they're going to drive to the hoop. They're going to want to get in the free throw line. And basically, that's the key. They're going to take it. Florida, which I think even producer Dave's got a little hunt in that one. I got Florida winning this thing. They're probably not playing the best of the 4. They've kind of lucked out against Connecticut and definitely lucked out against Texas Tech if they can make a free throw. Tech should have been in the Final 4, but they're playing Auburn. Auburn's been the same way. Michigan State, which unfortunately I kind of thought that was going to happen. Michigan State, Kathy, that they can't shoot threes, and they kept trying to shoot threes, and it was like, just drive to the hoop.
Right.
And basically they're down 9 to Mississippi, and Mississippi stopped scoring. So they went far. That's they should be happy if you're a Michigan State fan, but Auburn. Basically, Creighton had them down and let them off the hook. So the two teams aren't playing the best; they're playing each other, and the two that are playing the best are playing each other. So that should be interesting. Hey, by the way, I don't know if you're found that Snow White situation. The movie's not doing too well.
The movie is not doing well. That is true.
No. Because they changed the 7 drawers. Now it's Snow White and the 7 Howard Potters, and that's
it is.
Yeah, that's what happened. So
that
goes up to for Micah, the countertop lawyer, if he's listening.
Okay, all right.
But anyway, by the way,
there's more. There's more.
There's more.
No,
there's more. I happened to see a picture of Father Keeler doing the wedding reception.
You did.
How do you get a scarf like that?
Well, I don't know. It came with the ministry package. It's pretty nice, right? I mean, kept my neck very, very warm.
So when I went up to watch the game, with him last week, he says, "Let me see this picture of Bill at the wedding." So I showed it to him. He said, "That's Bill in the green." I said, "Yes, it is." And he kind of laughed. How did he get that?
And everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, I'm going to be on a St. Patrick's Day float, so I'm trying to get a scarf like that.
Well, you can get that in different colors, and yes, you can get it in green.
It looks sharp on you,
which was my choice. So,
exactly.
All right.
And I heard Jeff was actually in the studio. I missed him.
Jeff was in studio, and he'll be in again tomorrow till 8:00.
Oh, great!
So Megan is out
I was disappointed. He was supposed to jump out of for producer Dave's 50th birthday. He's supposed to jump out of the cake. They actually was shaped like a FedEx truck. So
he was planning for that. He really was. Hold on. There you go. He was really, really looking forward to that. All right, who wins this weekend? Do you like picking a winner, or do you like the spread? Do you like a live bet, in-game live bet? What do you suggest?
Live bets. That's what I was going to mention. Remember last week when when they were down to the 16 games, 8 on Saturday, 8 on Sunday, before not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before. Remember they went 13-3. In Sweet 16, if you did the same thing, just waited the second half and played the totals, you would have gone 9-3. So that's
okay.
That's 22-6, just doing it blindly. So
wow,
it's worked out. That's the way to do it, because a classic example was that the Tennessee Houston debacle. I don't know if you saw that or not, but it was like 34-15 at halftime. Only 49 points were scored in the first half. The over/under came down to 114.5, and they ended up scoring 119. So, but if you played the totals before most of these games, like Michigan State and Auburn was 147, because once again no one scored a lot in the first half and they had troubles in the second half. It went down to 130. They scored 134. So once again, if you're like I said, when I used to do fortune cookies, patience is a virgin.
Patience is
anyway, if you can wait and see how the game evolves. That's the way the real game is.
One thing you got to be careful of, though, with the in-game betting is if you're watching on YouTube TV, that's about
30 seconds,
30 to 45 seconds delayed. If you're watching on, there are some platforms that may be 90 seconds to 2 minutes delayed. And even if you're watching on Spectrum, not on the app, you're still in a delay. So you're really better off watching. I guess you'd watch the real time on the app is what you got to keep an eye on.
The app, or just wait for a TV timeout, because it's once every 4 minutes.
Yes,
and just wait for the second half anyway. But let me leave you at this, though.
Okay.
If first you don't succeed, you might want to give up skydiving. Okay.
Okay. All right. Have a wonderful day, Scott.
Have a good time, and maybe you'll see up at the Turning Stone for the championship game.
Well, that would be nice. All right.
Hopefully Florida's playing, and producer and Dave. Actually, NASCAR. Dave is red hot. Maybe you should.
I've heard he's been winning like winning like crazy with NASCAR. So All right. Good stuff there, Scott. Thank you, man. Win some money. Win some money out there. Quick break. Coming right back. Wrap it up with the stories you've not heard yet. And there are some doozies out there this morning coming up at WIBX.
Mattress Express's closeout sale on brand new leftover inventory and floor models. Right now, buy a king or queen and get a free adjustable base. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers, and no credit check payment plans available as well.
Coming Saturday, April 5th.
The Rome Capitol Theater presenting the Paragon Ragtime Orchestra in a pageant of American music, featuring theater organist David Peckham. The Paragon Ragtime Orchestra is the world's only year-round professional ensemble, recreating America's original music, the syncopated sounds of our country's popular music from the 1890s through the 1920s. Saturday, April 5th at 7 p.m. Tickets and information at romecapital.com.
Tickets on sale now.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Going to grab John Decker coming up in a moment. I'll tell you, portions of the program brought to you by the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. They're accepting new patients right now. Dr. Shemaleski, Dr. Zielinski. I go there once a month for an osteopathic adjustment for shoulder and lower back pain. And listen, it works. It helps. If you're in need of a new family doctor, they're taking new patients right now. Call them today. 315-507-4751, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. A couple of other things I want to get to. Steve Ponte Mazda, New Year, new Mazda sales event is continuing as we head into April. They've increased their inventory with over 150 new Mazdas. Save on a new Mazda lease or enjoy 0.9% APR financing on new 2025 Mazda CX-30s, 5s, 50s, 70s, and CX-90s. See Rick or anybody at the dealership for details. As Rick says, let's make your deal on a new Mazda from the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Davey, what else do I have to do before I get out? I'm not sure we're going to get John.
You're good.
I'm good. If you're struggling with pain, here's another thing that I do to deal with my back pain and shoulder pain. Soft wave therapy. Neck, back, knee, wrist, arthritis, shoulder pain, whatever might ail you, whatever is causing pain, FDA cleared, non-invasive, drug-free treatment for chronic pain. It's Revive Soft Wave Therapy with Dr. Timothy Del Medico. Call today, 315-725-8427. It is endorsed by pro athletes, medical experts, such as Forbes and Mayo Clinic. And then when it comes to sports teams, so many use this soft wave therapy, like the Giants, the Nets, the Cubs, Lakers, Steelers, and the list goes on. It's Revive Soft Wave Therapy. For a minimal cost, a series of treatments could eliminate your pain. Call them today at 315-725-8427. 315-725-8427 for soft wave therapy with Dr. Timothy Del Medico. Bunch of comments today. I haven't been able to get to all, but I'll try to squeeze a few in here as we head out. Wayne, did you read up on the guy that broke into a place and took a pallet of cookies? I did. Is that Davey, a local story?
Yeah, it happened on Tuesday. It was on the Utica PD's Facebook page. He took like 700 pounds of cookies, and he stole it on one of them carts that you used.
He took the.
Yeah, he took.
How would you need that many cookies
unless he loves chocolate,
or he's reselling them? I guess maybe. But how do you not get caught doing that? I don't know. Donna says, I spoke with someone about new cars and tariffs. This is a big question. So earlier, asking, really just contemplating on if a dealership has purchased a vehicle that is going to be a part of the tariff, the implemented tariffs that were announced yesterday. If they bought it, they didn't pay the tariff on it because they're going to certainly pass it on. It's just going to be passed on until it gets finally to the consumer. But I believe the answer is that if you have a vehicle that has not been hit with the tariff, then you can sell that as part of a promotion saying, beat the tariff, beat the increased pricing. She says, I asked my cousin who works in the car industry. He said Hyundai has a ton of meetings over the next few days. He does not know what their protocol is going to be. My guess, though, is right now, if you go in, try to buy a vehicle, and it's on the lot, they haven't paid the tariff, my guess is you probably would be able to take advantage of that. But again, that's only a guess. Because, at the end of the day, they want to sell the vehicle. What else? Do you live in a top city? I'm sure they're going to say we don't. In a top city for coffee. Experts are saying that the top city for coffee is Los Angeles. Our top city for coffee is New Hartford, which really isn't even a city, right? New survey, 87% of Americans say they're getting enough hydration in the morning is very important, and yet 34% say they usually don't drink water until after 3 p.m. Do you drink a lot of water?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, because I'll bet you the medicine that you take, you have to drink a lot of water.
Yes.
Yeah, mine too. I did not know that was your cousin, Donna. I don't want to call him out on that, but he would know his stuff when it comes to vehicles. And that is it. Listen,
stay safe out there today.
We have a bit of a rainy day, and we had a lot of rain this morning. I want to tell you, even early this morning, there was flooding on some puddling, if you will,
and Bill,
on the arterial. Got to go, Davey. News is now.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
It has a worldwide effect. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
President Trump is taking this economy in a different direction.
But there's concern about that on Wall Street, where a stock market plunge is looming. Dow futures are down nearly 1,300 points over new U.S. tariffs that Vice President Vance just told Fox change trade policy.
We borrow money from Chinese peasants to buy the things those Chinese peasants manufacture. That is not a recipe for economic prosperity. It's not a recipe for low prices, and it's not a recipe for good jobs in the United States of America.
The tariffs start at a baseline of 10%, but some countries are facing much higher rates. For example, the president hitting China with 39% reciprocal tariffs and the European Union with 20% reciprocal tariffs. The EU, China, and Canada are already preparing countermeasures.
As Fox's Brooke Singman, China calls it bullying, adding there are no trade war winners. In real war, Israel hit Gaza with more overnight airstrikes, expanding its renewed operation against Hamas. Palestinians say more than 50 people were killed. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is at NATO headquarters, and Fox's Jonathan Savage reports this is his message.
The U.S. is in NATO to stay, but allies must play their part.
The only way NATO can get stronger and more viable is if our partners, the nation states that comprise this important alliance, have more capability.
He says members should spend up to 5% of GDP on defense. Secretary Rubio backed up by NATO Secretary General Mark